Welcome to the American Red Devils podcast. I'm John.
I'm Alex.
And we're bringing you the best Manchester United news from this side of the pond.
Ooh, sir, how we doing? 0-0 result today from the lads. Manchester United versus Southampton. Bottom of the table, Southampton. And guess what? Turned into one of those games where it's all about the referee because you know what? In the English Premier League, the greatest sports league in the world, the refs are woefully under the job. Red card for Casemiro again. Unbelievable that he got a red card for a tackle that got the ball a little cheeky. Definitely a strong challenge, but it is not a red card by any means when you're looking at players stomping on other players in the Premier League. Just yesterday, João Felix got stomped on by a Leicester City player. No card, no call, no nothing. And then today, the guy gets the ball. This ref has had a bias against United all season. They're showing it. Lack of consistency.
I mean, he gave it the yellow.
Lack of consistency. He gave it yellow, and then he
went
and
the
overturned.
VAR. Now you're talking about more than one ref. Is what I'm trying to get. There's the VAR ref,
but he didn't give the penalty for the handball, which is one of the most egregious handballs I've seen in a while.
But I'm saying the VAR ref also didn't give it. You have to clarify which ref we're whinging about because there's so many refs.
I'm whinging about both refs. I'm whinging about the ref on the field who made a mock out of both, and then the VAR ref continues to be a mockery. This same ref was working the Chelsea game, and he didn't call that a red card when that was a worse stomp on Chelsea's Portuguese lad. But either way, United did show some fight in the last 60 minutes after Casemiro got sent off. And here's the thing. If it is a red card, that's fine, but that's a handball. That's a fucking handball all day. He literally blocked the ball from going to Wout Weghorst, even though Wout likely wouldn't have finished. But it's a handball. It's a penalty. We don't get it. This is going to be a pod complaining about the referees just because he ruined the game. It's like when you give red cards for no reason, and this is a no reason red card, arguably like the one we did against Palace, where Casemiro grabbed him by the scruff of the neck. That was more reasonable because, okay, while in play, the photo looks damning. He got the ball. He literally got the ball, nicked him a little bit. It's a yellow. It's not a red. And if it is a red, well, that's a handball, and that's a penalty for Manchester United. But 0-0. Could have lost. At least we're continue to be unbeaten at home, sir. How we feeling? How we doing?
Hit the bar as well, Bruno, with a great chance. For me, we can get into the whinging about the referee. I think Alex just did that for the both of us there. He's really fired up.
You're welcome.
He's really fired up about the ref today. And I do think in the spirit of the game, he did ruin the fixture. But what can you take away from this match as a United fan? Number one, fought for 60-plus minutes, down a man, tried to win it, showed courage at home. That's all you can ask. Once the ref makes a decision like that, changes the dynamic of the game, you look at the players, and I didn't see anyone hanging their head. I didn't see anyone giving up like we saw in the game that we're not supposed to talk about anymore on the podcast. So there is a silver lining to this tough game. Southampton, they're desperate. Like we said, hungry dog runs faster here, and they came into Old Trafford. Not a great start from Manchester United either. They're playing at the bottom of the table. They came at us. They pressed us. We struggled out the back. We didn't really generate too many clear-cut chances. They came to play today. It's unfortunate that we got the red, but that's sort of out of the players' control, out of our control as fans, and one of the worst calls I've seen in a long time, mainly because it just – to give a red in the 30th minute, I think you got to have a little more bad intention. For me, bad intention, straight red, first half. I know this context shouldn't matter, but it does. If you're going to ruin a game, everyone showed up, paid good money to watch it. We're up early with the kids, daylight savings time, the rest.
They were not happy.
We want to watch a competitive game, 11v11, and if you want to take that away from everybody in the 30th minute, it's got to be something bad. And look, there was Casemiro is a dog. He's a dog, and when he steps on that pitch, he's going 110 miles an hour. That was a hell of a tackle. It was bad luck he hit the ball high, glanced off the ball into the leg. That's a leg breaker. On the other side of it, I'm going to say that
he nicked him.
That his foot was planted. That's really the danger, is when the other player's foot is planted in the ground and you're going over the ball into the leg. They're trying to get rid of it. The whole problem with Casemiro is he didn't go for the leg. He went for the ball and ended up at the leg. You're splitting hairs. But in 2023, it's a different game. It's an absolutely different game. You saw the collar or the hands around the neck is a red. This should have been a yellow. Then it's a red. You don't want to give them any red meat. You don't want to give VAR any red meat. And for me, when I saw him go in that hard on that play, I just was a little nervous because I thought the result could have been a red. And I hate to see it because the EPL's come a long way. In my view, it's a yellow card. You can't ruin the game. And VAR is ruining the game. It's as simple as possible. The replay came in. We told you it'd ruin it. It ruined the NFL. NFL struggled for the last 10 years to get under control. What's a catch? Is it a catch? You don't even know what you're watching anymore, honestly. It takes so much joy out of the game. Still, even they're debating like the bobbling and the control and all these definitions. Like, who cares? It's like you want to watch a sport. You don't want to watch like a lawyer explain the rules to you at the end of the day. And it's a tough one here with this red and just having that. At this point, you're just like, okay, whatever. It just ruins the game. It just absolutely ruins the game. On to the next one. On to Betis. That's it. On to Betis.
I mean, on to Betis is the message for sure, but it's like you said, it's not. We'll bear this sooner rather than later. We don't make the whole fucking thing about the refs, but if you're gonna do it, there has to be consistency. And we talked about this. I think if we could go back, I had no idea that implementing VAR would be such a disaster. But
of course it would be.
Given how poorly the FA conducts themselves on a day-to-day basis and how poor the standard of refereeing is in general, it's a shit show and it's a fucking mess because here's the thing. It could be a red, but there has to be consistency across the games so that the Leicester City player that stuck his studs and got nowhere into the ball yesterday, not that I give a shit about Chelsea or Leicester City, but the whole point is he should have seen red. He should have a 3-match ban.
That called red, honestly.
I watched it live. It was like, that's not even a yellow. So see the same thing today with the same VAR ref. Dude, this is what
they're trying to prevent
consistency in the league is atrocious. It's holding the league back, and like you said, VAR should be gotten rid of at this point. The ref could barely get it right on the field, and then at the same time, you have a rotating cast of clowns that are taking charge of VAR at any given point. You should have the same team do it week in, week out, so at least they'll get the right or wrong decisions consistent. And now we have no consistency. We have bias, and this is all we're talking about. Talking about the fucking calls because we talked about the football game. United didn't start great, but if we had kept our 11 in it, we would have won this game because Southampton were there to be taken. But the boys showed fight. They showed some good resilience, and they fought back, and they kept us in it. And De Gea made some great saves. We got a little luck. They hit the post a couple times. We hit the post as well. And on to the next one. Betis, that's it. Let's go.
But VAR, what VAR does is that there's a gut feel about being a referee in a match. The pace of the play, the game, the dynamic of the game. And VAR takes all that away and just slows everything down to one slow motion replay. And you see Casemiro's foot on the opposition player. And you're not thinking about the 30th minute. You're not thinking about the flow of the game. You're not thinking about rooting against football. You're just literally distilling it down to some cold slow motion frames. And that makes things look worse. It makes the choke look worse. I don't know why they didn't look at all the activity there. It's just you open up Pandora's box, and what you get is ruining the beautiful game. The game we love. English football should have a little extra mustard on it, in my opinion. I think Man Shitty is the tactical fouls and playing tiki-taka, in my opinion, has ruined the game. VAR's ruining the game. It's becoming like the La Liga that we didn't want it to be. And this challenge is a yellow all day in my EPL. But in 2023... they're calling it red with VAR, and that's where we're at.
They're calling it red for Manchester United. They don't call it red for other teams. You know, like Fabinho did it a couple weeks ago. Stopped the player. He didn't get nothing. He didn't even give him a yellow. So it's all over the place. And here's the thing. We're going to stop talking about the refs, but look at what came out of La Liga this week. It's like Barcelona's been paying off the refs for 2 decades. They've been cheating for 20 years. If they're doing it in Spain, we've heard about it in Italy. Why wouldn't there be cheating in the FA? Of course there would be. Like, I'm not saying that
I'm not
teams
going, this is like
are paid.
Too,
yeah, we're getting down now. I'm getting deep
Alex
in it.
is going tinfoil. Conspiracy. Look, I'm just saying.
I'm just saying is like...
No, they're
FA?
trying to stop. It's not tinfoil. They're trying to stop the leg breaker challenge, and that was a very dangerous. Like where his leg ended up in the way
He got the
it
ball.
did.
He got the ball.
I agree with you, but that is the challenge they are trying to prevent, and we've seen a lot of players, like Lucia being one of them. I have seen a lot in England. They break their legs. You don't want to see that. Let's get into this PSA for the pod because we're just gonna whinge all day about the refs. I don't know. Like Alex seems to be like leg breaking challenges are great for the game.
And you're complaining about something. That's whinging.
We're both whinging. I'm not the only one whinging. And leg breaker challenge. That was a leg breaker challenge.
That was
Come on.
100%.
It was not a leg breaker. He got the ball.
Where his leg, he went over the top. Going over the top of the ball is a known dangerous
Walker
play.
Peters did a freaking scissor tackle on Garnacho that probably took him out for the rest of the
should be a
season.
red.
And that should be a red card too. It's like they didn't
should be a red.
give a yellow card to fat. What's his name? That fat
How
striker.
can you not understand that? The point I'm trying to make is that studs over the ball into the other player's legs is something they're trying to prevent.
It's the lack of consistency.
I haven't seen that not called. That was not what happened to João Felix. João Felix was high studs on ankle. I've seen that not given as red. Over the ball into the leg, parallel leg breaker. They're going to give reds for that.
If it was a leg breaker, he would have broken his leg.
I don't know. It's a tough one. Quick PSA for the pod. We're eating that L today, or the draw on the podcast. If you want to support independent fan content and the Muppet Take, digesting all the bad VAR calls from Manchester United, please check out our Patreon page, patreon.com/America Red Devils. Support us. It's like a tip jar. There's tons of benefits. Please check it out. Amazing community. If you want to be the cream of the crop of the America Red Devils fan base, check it out. Also, check out our website, AmericaRedDevils.com. Great fan blog content there. And check out our store. We have great merch, AmericaRedDevils.store. Everything you buy supports this small-time operation. And also, like, subscribe, drop a review on iTunes. Sir, tell them about iTunes reviews.
iTunes reviews or 5-star reviews of the American Red Devils podcast, wherever you listen. It's a great way to support the pod. It helps us get found organically by other Muppets like yourself. And even better, we still got a free giveaway going. We're giving away free American Red Devil design Glazer Out green and gold scarves. And all you have to do is write a 5-star review on iTunes or Spotify and send a screenshot to AmericanRedDevils@gmail.com with your mailing address, and I will personally pick, pack, and ship a free green and gold ARD scarf, sent it right to your door anywhere in the world. Here's a great one from Schlippy Dog. 5 stars, perfect for all. This podcast is my go-to analysis and preview listening. After each game, I can't wait to listen to their unique Yank perspective on the game as well as the team news. The format is consistent, and both hosts do a good job of letting each other speak their opinions on the segment, even when discussing the merits of the world's #1 keeper or the tall Dutchman's 40-yard dash time. I also appreciate that I don't have to sit through several 3-minute-long commercials about ball hair trimmers or stock portfolio apps. Keep doing what you're doing because I can't get enough. Thank you, Schleppy Dog. Thank you to all the American Devils writing those 5-star reviews. We like no ads as much as I imagine you would like no ads, because ain't nobody got time for ads when you're talking about the refs in the
Ain't
FA.
nobody could pay me enough money to talk about ball hair trimmers
good, bro.
on the American Red Devils podcast.
If you need any of that, keep it to yourself.
Yeah, like that should not be something that we discuss. We should be talking about Manchester United 0, Southampton 0, Old Trafford, sir, in the league. But here's the deal: how many 0-0s have we seen over the past few years? Haven't seen many this season.
A lot.
So as far as 0-0s go, I'm going to take away that the lads fought long and hard. We were hard done by the referee for sure. And let's get into that lineup. Sir, you want to give us the lineup here?
Dave stays in net. Who else is back 4 of AWB, Varane, Martinez, and Shaw. AWB coming in for Delo. Interesting midfield: Casemiro, Jadon Sancho, and Bruno Fernandes. Weghorst up front, Anthony on the right, Rashford on the left. Sir, what kind of lineup is that? What were you thinking when you saw it?
I thought it was a little disrespectful for Southampton to put Sancho in there into midfield, the extra attacker. I get it. We thought they were going to sit back. We thought that we could just get at him all day at home. I like the aggressiveness, but surprised he made the move. And ultimately, what they came out with in the first half, they came out to press. So kind of nullified Ten Hag's idea here, and tactics didn't quite work. 16th minute though, Rashford breaks through. Great chance for him after him and Bruno link up well, but nice save from the keeper. 18th minute, great chance for Rashford, but the through ball gets away from him, so he muffs the chance. Unfortunately, we were doing well getting Rashford in behind. Rashford in behind from the left, that was working, but Southampton was getting at us. We were having trouble playing the ball out the back, and in the 23rd minute, Dave saves Aaron Wan-Bissaka with a bad giveaway, but the Spaniard keeps it even. Huge save from De Gea. He had some big saves today. Not sure anyone's going to be talking about that, given the horrific calls from the referee.
No, I mean, let's move beyond the ref. We know how that played out, but Martinez was terrific, and De Gea was terrific from a shot-stopping perspective because he kept us in it. He kept us in it early. AWB, who I thought looked good throughout, this was a bad giveaway from him. We haven't seen one of these in a while, but the Spaniard making up for it in a big way with a big save. As United, once they got through that first 15 minutes of them pressing the shit out of us.
But we're at home, and it's like Varane last-ditch challenge. Martin has like a lot of last-ditchers from the defense. We were on the back foot from Southampton, and you're right. We did lose the midfielder, and they came at us. It was I was surprised to see that. 31st minute, great chance for Wout. He's got to get his heading game under control here, right at the keeper, and then get into it. Casemiro, red card after VAR intervenes. This one, like we just discussed, it ruins the game. It ruins the game. Not a red for me. I get what if you slow it down and
take one photo,
it looks bad, but the intent for me, it comes down to the intent. And the intent was to play the ball. When he did go in, I saw him, and in 2023, this challenge is usually in front of the ball. Like if you see how Wan-Bissaka tackles, he doesn't go through the ball with the studs. Casemiro's that OG, that dog, and he went through the ball. And this is the football we used to love to see. Scholes, Keane, these are challenges. Like, hey man, you want to go for the ball? I'm gonna this is setting the tone in the middle of the park, and it was a ricochet shot that ended up landing in a bad spot, and VAR intervenes.
No, it's 10 years ago, this isn't even a yellow. And then I think, by and large, I watch a lot of EPL, even beyond Manchester United. This has usually been a yellow, from what I've seen, unless they have a decision that they want to get a player sent off. So it's the lack of consistency. That bothers me. Enough about whinging about bias against Manchester United. I went a little bit, like you said, tinfoil made it over here. But come on, man. It's got to be the same week in, week out for all the teams playing in the EPL as best you can. And I think they're just so all over the place. So at this point, it's the ref show. And he kept doing it. He kept making it all about him because this was not the last bad call
I'm going to say Andre Mariner gave the yellow and then the VAR ref gave the red, right? So I've never seen a ref go to the monitor and then not give the...
No, it's always...
So and that's what I also don't agree with is for some reason, and that's where they need to get, and they have to change the system. Because you have to hear the conversation between the ref and the VAR. Because right there, the VAR is telling him to give him a red.
Which he doesn't have to do, right?
No, because I think the way it should work is like, hey, I'm going to give you a few angles of it. Let me know what you think. But in actuality, he's saying, this is a red. You could, and the fact that you can't hear that is complete bullshit. Because you should be able to hear what he's telling him because he's trying to convince him to give the red. I just don't understand it. It should be like, hey, we have an angle for this you might want to see. Here it is in slow motion. Let me see if you want another view. That is not what is happening. The VAR ref is like trying to make a name for himself. I'm going to make a call here. This is a red. This is a red.
They all want to be
it's
famous,
all bullshit.
Bro. They all want to be like the next Mike Dean and have their own,
yeah.
Get sent over to Saudi Arabia to get paid fat money to build out an FA over there. Here's the thing. Fired up.
There's not enough salt to put on this red here.
It's a bad call, but we're used to bad calls at this point because there's just been bad call after bad call.
Yeah, you just got to eat it. On the next one, Ward-Prowse close from a free kick in the 39th minute. Bruno finds Varane at the far post, but this one again could have scored. We create a lot of chances even down 10 men. 43rd minute, Saints handball. This one, someone's got the ref. This is what I'm talking about, like the follow-up. So if the VAR ref is going to give the red, he's got to explain why in post-game. And if he's not going to give the handball here, he's got to explain why. There has to be a little more accountability as far as publicly. There is behind the scenes. They do have to write a post-mortem why they made the decisions, but it is for the archives of the FA. There needs to be some public accountability here because this one, to me, he's down, arm in an awkward position. It materially impacts the play. This is literally the definition of a handball. Ref doesn't give it. VAR should give it. They don't. And then this is when you get into conspiracy because you're just what did Manchester United ever do to this guy's childhood? The answer is probably just dunked on his team.
Dominated for 20 years,
year after year after year. And then guess what? That's what's happening right now. That's if you want to know why we're probably getting screwed, it's because of that. And now all the refs have grown up, and now they're screwing United back after all the stoppage time winners and all that great goodwill we had, and it's gone. 44th minute sub McTominay for Wout. I think it makes sense. McTominay come to shore things up, and then we get in half.
And here's the thing. If this was any other team, and they were hard done this way. If the Scousers got done this way, Arsenal, City, all the pressers would be talking about it all week. But the only people that will be talking about this week are United publications. And nobody's going to talk about either calls. They're
American Red Devils.
We'll be talking about week in, week out, baby. But I was saying is like, they could be nothing on the Daily Mail. They could be nothing on the Times. They could be nothing on ESPN FC. It's all because they don't give a shit. It's all anti-United bias.
No. It's more of the game has become soft. The game in England has become so soft at such a pace. It's unbelievable. Like it's literally you can quote. I think Pep Guardiola coming in, the tactical fouls.
They would have gotten that handball call. They would have gotten a penalty.
It's gotten. I literally watched. You could type it in YouTube. 08, 09, 10. Like goal of the year highlights. It's like amazing. 20-minute video. It's like banger after banger, counterattacking. It's like open play, end-to-end, amazing football. And what Pep Guardiola coming in and City, like stealing all the money or lying about the money and like the tactical fouls, slow it down, play out the back. It's like it's become boring, and the refereeing has become worse. The refs never adapted to the style that English football should always have. It should be fast. It should be physical. And there should be a different standard. And whingers and tactical fouls and people who dive should be the ones being carded by VAR, not the other way around, not people putting in like a hell of a tackle like Casemiro. So I just think the EPL has a serious referee issue. They got a VAR issue. And the game has kind of changed way too much for me.
Yep.
The product is definitely I love Manchester United, but overall English football, its heydays were in the 2010s. And that wasn't just because United was winning, but just take a look at the game. It's just it's a different game now.
No, they've leaguified it. It's like
exactly.
Not only on the tactical foul element, the slowing down, the soft pens. There's also like the, dare I say, the biases. Dude, it's a shit show. It's a mess. And the thing is, like, you want to fix it? Have accountability. Have the refs go out and be like, this is what happened this game. This is where we got right. This is what, they don't do that at all, bro. And they never will because they don't want to be accountable to nobody. It's a closed league. FA, I mean, the EPL is not a closed league, but I bet you the FA and who's running those jokers is, you wouldn't be impressed. That's all.
They fixed the offsides is better this year. I'll give them that. So, like, in my opinion,
scrap VAR.
VAR should literally be like goal line technology. Love it. Offsides and then nothing else. Everything else is on the field decision by the referee, pace of play.
They're making nothing better.
Exactly. I mean, for me as a United fan this year, VAR has just been horrific.
It gives them two chances to mess it up. They can mess it up on the field, and then VAR can mess it up from the VAR booth. So it's like, it just gives it double the errors because it's not the same VAR crew every week. It's like a rotating cast of clowns. And here we are, still whinging about the refs. Second half.
All right. 49th minute, AWB clears off the line after United get caught out. We were going for it, and then there was a lot of space for Southampton to attack in behind. 54th minute, Ward-Prowse hits the crossbar from a free kick. 64th, Walcott one-on-one with De Gea. Huge save by De Gea here. Keep it. I mean, this should be the thing we're talking about. De Gea literally keeping a clean sheet to get us the point after a horrible call in the first half. 67th, Bruno with a great curling effort. Goalie pushes on the post. I mean, this one.
I know. I thought this is it. It's a nice hit. Great hit from Bruno.
I just said it's not your day.
No, I thought this like hit the inside post and bounced west, and it almost looked like it did, but this doesn't go in. You ain't getting nothing in.
Walker Peters hits the post at the other end, so, eye for an eye there. 73rd double sub, Garnacho and Facundo on for Antony and Sancho. Not Sancho's best match. Not looking for just the eye test on the fitness, not looking fit. That was a big one for him to come into Southampton. We thought this would be an easier game, but I didn't think Jadon Sancho played that well in that new midfield role. It could be because he's playing a different role, but Sancho, he had the go train away and come back, and he hasn't really found it. And obviously, that's a player that we want to be hitting all cylinders on the right-hand side of the pitch for United. That's where he should be. He should be Rashford on the right.
That's what we thought when we gave him that money, $350,000 a week, the same as Champions League winners Varane and Casemiro. It's unbelievable.
They say mo money,
mo problems. It's a good point. I mean, maybe it's because he played on the 10, but at the end of the day, it's like the absence for 2-3 months because of fitness. That's not a great sign. And you'd want to see him start to kick on, even like Garnacho or Facundo, who's now going to get a lot more reps with Garnacho out for an undetermined period of time. We'll talk about that in a second. But Anthony, he gets a lot of shtick, but Sancho, I mean, Jesus, he cost almost as much money. Anthony's been scoring more goals.
The right wing for Manchester United is an endless
Ahmad.
pit of money.
I mean, Ahmad be coming in. It's, who knows? It is just a carousel right now at this point.
82nd minute, Walker Peters with a scissor tackle on Garnacho. Looks to be a knee injury. He did come on and do a few sprints, but then he got subbed off. I think that was a good move by the manager. Put on Maguire and Fred for Martinez and Garnacho. That was it. We draw. Looking at the score sheet here, down 10 men, we had 10 shots to their 17, 4 on target to their 4, 46% of the ball to their 54%. But again, we were down for most of the game. And Casemiro is the first player to receive 2 red cards in a single Premier League season for Manchester United since Vidic in 13-14. And Vidic was putting a little more mustard on those tackles than Casemiro did.
Yes, he was. That was a rough season for all of us. But these were soft, dude. He's never had a straight red in senior football. He got 2 in what? I think it's 2 and 3 EPL games because, right, he just missed all those games with the Palace red. This one I would try to fight, but the FA, they ain't doing no favors to Manchester United.
You can't fight it.
You can try.
It's not even a point. I've never heard of, there's one, I think, in the last
not for us. It's
20 years I've ever heard
not for us.
overturned. It's usually no. Looking at the table, how does this impact us? Arsenal, they stomped Fulham today, 27 played, 66. City, 27, 61. United, 26, 50. Again, dropping points, falling down to the top 4 race. 27 played for Tottenham, 48 points. 25 played for Newcastle, 44 points. And obviously, Scouse Bastards, ha, 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 getting back 1.
Cherries.
Come on, you cherries. 26 matches and 42 points. And that's where we are. We are amongst the Tottenham, Newcastles, and Scouse Bastards of the world.
Yep.
We have completely departed away from anything relevant to being the more elite clubs in England. Unfortunately, as United has ever gotten closer to the sun, we have faded away in traditional fashion, as we always have, even under Jose, even under Ole, and even under Eric Ten Hag. Every time we got a sniff of making a move, staying in the race, we have always faded, and here we are. With a game in hand, but 11 off of Man City and 16 off of Arsenal. And I think we're a better football team than those 50 points suggest. And it's just been some key moments. Crystal Palace, free kick at the death. You got the Casemiro red that affected the Arsenal match at their end. We have the Casemiro red that affects this match and probably 3 other league matches negatively. So a lot of extra things we're dealing with that when you're going on a title run or you want to be in a race, these are mistakes you can't make.
It's the race before the race. No one would have thought that we would have been in an EPL title race. I certainly didn't. I know you didn't. And now we're not in the top 3 in the sense of we're right behind the 2 teams that are actually going for the title. I would have liked us to had our heads well ahead of Spurs and Newcastle and Liverpool, but the priority now is picking up as many pieces.
Draw. We drew leads.
Picking up as many pieces of silverware as possible. We lost Casemiro. We didn't have him for those games.
No, I know, but there's these mistakes.
No, it's good, dude. Top 4 is going to be in the mix for the rest of the season. To the last game of the year.
No, that's what I'm saying. We've made mistakes. We've played good enough to be in a race, and there's some critical mistakes in these key games whenever we're
close.
Gone
against us as well, but yes, sir. But
no,
Rome wasn't built in a day, and even Eric Ten Hag, he's in his first season as this manager. When Ole got close, that was not his first season. When Jose got close in second, that was not his first season. The man needs time. He needs windows. And you know what? Not all the breaks have gone our way, but we are in a good position. But it's going to be a top 4 battle all the way. It's going to be a fight in the mud for a knife, as as that show referenced a couple of weeks ago, sir, because it's going to go down to the last day. To Fulham, last home game of the year, last game of the year. Nothing will be settled.
This game is whatever, but the fact that Casemiro's gone, that's the real problem. The real problem is our best player is going to sit 7 EPL games where he's not injured, and it's because of 2 straight red cards. And that is something that you can't have. You
both
literally
dubious
can't.
ones.
I would say they're not. He's a type of player that is going to go out there. He's going to give it. He just doesn't have that.
Never got a straight red before, bro. Never got a straight so. Yeah, he is that player, but he's actually smart about how he tackles when he tackles.
That challenge was aggressive.
It's not
a red card, but when he made it, I was like, you don't need to do that.
He's a dog, bro.
You know,
He's like, we need that dog
when
mentality.
he made it,
He's got that abundance.
I was like, when he went in that hard on that, I had a feeling like, you better hope that's yellow because that was aggressive. That was my first reaction.
It was aggressive.
It was aggressive. But what do we know? Let's check in with the manager.
What I think is the inconsistency. The players don't know anymore what is the policy. And I think it's all across. When you see this weekend, the Premier League, yesterday, Leicester, Chelsea, then it's VAR is not coming on the line. Today, it's coming on the line. And then it's coming a penalty, 2 penalty situations, but they don't come on the line. I think especially the first one, I think for me was clear and obvious handball. So, what is the policy?
Did you ask Anthony Taylor what the policy is?
Of course, we talk, but not a lot. But so yeah, some questions we have.
So,
Eric, I mean that's 2 red cards for Casemiro in quite a short space of time. He's going to miss more football now. Is that a problem?
So there's another one, inconsistent. The refereeing is coming in the start of the season with the policy. We are Premier League. It's going strong here. We want intensity. Casemiro has across European leagues in over 500 games. He had never had a red card, and now he had twice. Overthink that, but he's he plays tough, but he plays fair, and also in this, he's playing fair, same as against Crystal Palace. So it's very debatable.
So you're not going to tell him to change or anything like that?
But Casemiro is everyone who knows something about football. You know, and of course when you freeze it, it looks bad. But everyone who knows something about football, who was acting on top football, they know what is bad and what isn't bad, what is fair. And I tell you, Casemiro is a really fair player, tough, but fair. And so when it shows over 500 games in big leagues, never sent off.
How is he, Eric? He looked absolutely crestfallen when he came on. How is he being in the dressing room and what has he said to the players?
Not a lot. He's disappointed.
Jamie.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you about the freeze framing that you mentioned. Is this part of the issue or the problem that anything slowed down can look a lot worse? I mean,
yeah, definitely. When you do acting like this, you have to be consistent across all the games and all the decisions. And now they isolate one, and so it's a little bit the same as against Crystal Palace.
Sounds like, I mean, Eric Ten Hag said it right. I mean, everyone's going to be talking about this call. It's going to impact our season and just completely destroyed this game. I think he's more eloquent than the American Red Devils. I think he did a better job than us. I'm trying to... There's a theme of like the VAR and the league getting soft and like coming out this season saying, no, we're not soft. And then like the inconsistencies. He had every point and he's completely right. And he's never gotten a red. And you're right. My view is that was a fair tackle and strong,
definitely strong,
aggressive,
definitely
but
yellow,
fair. And
yellow.
When 2 players are flying in full speed in a man's game,
gets the ball,
it can be dangerous, and that was dangerous. And you can't make this game safe, just like you can't make the NFL not give you brain damage on a regular basis. It's like you can't make legs are going to break. You're kicking a ball, people are flying in. It's going to happen. You can do your best, but it's just. Ten Hag said it best. You don't need to hear it from the Muppets here. We're just losing our marbles because of this top 4 race we're going to fall into, and then we don't have Casemiro. It's gonna. Oh my god.
We're going to close it out around this call after this, but I like the point he made about like 500. That was like the first time where he like came out like. That was a Jose line, bro. That was a Jose Mourinho
He's calling
line.
out the refs.
He's right, bro. He needs to call the refs because they're fucking terrible. And United have been hard done. And we expect to get hard done by 1 call a game. This is the thing. You get the red card, okay. handball, penalty, United hold on, big win against Southampton when they're back against the wall. Like, that makes me get 2 fucking shit calls and both screw you. It's hard not to feel hard done, but we're moving on because we got Hans and Franz coming down the pipe.
That's right, we're here. Hans and Franz on the turntables. Curing all the ailments of all United fans, because you know what? Top 4 might be falling apart. We might be in a battle, but Europa League. The rhythmic theme. Feeling fine. 4-1 Real Betis. Who are you?
Who are ya? Exactly. You know, the only thing that makes a bad result feel better is a win. Win, baby, win. Wins always help. And I know the United faithful, the Red Army that's going to be traveling away for this match in southern Spain, there are only a few places that would beat this away location in Sevilla in March. It'll be a lot nicer weather-wise than I'm sure Northern England is at the moment. So, especially with a 4-1 aggregate lead, you can rotate a little bit, although Casemiro has to play now because he's not going to be playing any FA games for a while.
Just don't get a red card.
I'm excited. Don't get a red card, exactly. But Betis, we know who they're about. They're going to be harder to break down at home. Fans are going to be in full voice. We're going to have, more shitty refs. Remember, the ref in the first leg wasn't very good either, but I guess that's the way football goes these days.
Of course, we're talking Real Betis versus Manchester United at the Benito Villamarin Stadion.
Well done. Well done.
Europa League, round of 16, leg
High school
2,
Spanish killing it.
Thursday, March 16th, 10:45 a.m. Pacific, 1:45 Eastern. No guts?
Guts.
Do you have it? At the end of the day, Betis, they drew Villarreal, the Yellow Submarine, who we famously did not
Did not draw.
did not draw in the final, although we did on regular time. So, look, this is a game we're just going to be cruise control all the way into southern Spain. You saw the jokers they have in their team: Claudio Bravo, Fekir. Carvalho is actually a pretty good player.
He's all right.
At the end of the day, we got to be bossing them, absolutely just destroying them. They're playing the 4-2-3-1, so we're not worried about Betis at all.
No, we just got to hold the line, not have like a RB Leipzig leg 2 kind of situation, and do the business. And then it's on to the FA Cup quarterfinals. Can't believe it, against feisty Fulham. So that's going to be a good match.
They do have a big stadium, which the club Betis founded in 1907. They can hold 60,000 plus at the Estadio Benito Villamarin, sir. There's going to be a lot of fans there. This is a big game for this club. But again, they haven't seen success in the league since 1935. They did win the Copa del Rey in 2022, so they are on the rise. They could be tricky. They're going to be desperate. Caged animal coming at us. Nothing to lose. We concede in the first half. It's going to be wobbly legs FC. Other history here. The name Betis is derived from Betis, the Roman name for the local river which passes through Seville, in which the Roman province there was named after, sir. I've been to Sevilla and been to the Roman ruins there. Beautiful Andalusia, southern Spain, very beautiful. Trying my 2 years of high school Spanish.
I like it. Sevilla's a great town. Got to spend some time there as well. They enjoy a pint. They got lots of nice plazas. Like I said, the traveling Reds will have a great time being fine
unbelievable
voice.
to be
I would
there.
love to be in Sevilla this week instead of dealing with some stuff that people are dealing with in America at the moment.
Bank failures.
Bank issues.
Our
That's been fun.
we just got a sponsor, SVB Bank. We're ready to go. Let's get the injuries here. Donny van de Beek, Christian Eriksen, Casemiro is not suspended in Europa League, so he can feature. Tony Martial, might as well add him to the not going to play here no more crew this season. I can't believe we have never addressed this, but wow, when he came back from Sevilla.
We have addressed it. We talked about it in the summer about how he was.
No, but
he was not going to be.
I said Murtaugh, Arnold are the only people who would bank the number 9 position at Manchester United on a guy who was injured and only scored 1 goal for Sevilla, like a bad Sevilla, and he couldn't even stay healthy. So there's like nothing to
Still
hold.
can't stay healthy.
But
he's
my
never
point
been
is
able to stay healthy.
There was literally nothing to hold on to.
They had Ronaldo there.
So
Ronaldo.
say if he was healthy and he just couldn't score, or he had a bunch of chances, or was playing well, or something was going on with him. But like literally, he has continued on the same path. We need him.
We'll never be able to sell him. That's the thing. He's on £250,000 a week. No one's going to pick up those wages for a player that can like literally play every 4th game.
No, not even that.
No, he's going to be a Philly Joe. He's going to just be on the roster until we basically wash out his contract, and then he'll.
But I haven't heard anything about like career and injury, or like he just like
he has different injuries every time, sir. He's not gotten the same injury this season. He's gotten a hip injury, then a groin injury, then a thigh injury, then a knee injury.
But this is one of those things where you look at an aging player like Varane, and you kind of feel bad for him. But for Martial,
it's worse for Martial.
Given his age, I think it has to be like how he takes care of himself. You know, at such a young age.
Some of these guys have a curse. Phil Jones always got hurt. There's some players that just can. Louis Saha, always got hurt. Like there's just some players that never can stay fit.
Yeah, but Ryan Giggs, is like not like the.
Keep going.
He's not like the guy you look up to as far as morality.
But he
fit. Took care of his body.
Took incredible care of his body.
Flexibility, yoga, like something. Tony Martial. Check out some hot yoga studio, something. I need you to come back. I want you to come back. We just never talk about on the pod. Zabitzer, he has a knock, could be back. And Garnacho's out as well. So you want to talk about Garnacho? The scissor leg challenge, that should be a red.
That's what I thought. 100%. I mean, same with the Andy Carroll tackle. He didn't even get a yellow. That's also an FA game.
Another great point.
It's like fucking disaster class. Let's talk about 11s. I got De Gea in that. He's going down to Spain. He's going to be in a Spanish best. AWB. Maguire, Lindelof, why not? Malacia, I'm going to do Casemiro, Fred, Sabitzer, Sancho on the left, Wout up top, Facundo on the right. Now that Garnacho is out, I'm going to give Rashi a break, and I'm going to give Martinez and Varane a break before the big FA Cup game on the weekend. Sir, what is your 11?
What was that sound? Was that for Maguire or what?
That was for the Maguire, Lindelof going down to Spain to fight around the world, sir. Remember Maguire? He likes a scrap. Remember Greece?
I'm gonna give. I'll give it AWB, Lindelof, Shaw, Malacia, Casemiro, Fred, Bruno. You're gonna see Rashford, Wout, and Sancho. I think that's what you're gonna see, and then subbing at halftime if we're ahead or it's even. I think you'll see like a lot of subs coming in. Booking the bookies. What are the odds?
Odds of Titan, Betis at home, plus 250 for the win, plus 260 for the draw, and plus 100 for United to pick up the win on the road. Sir, given the odds, what is your score prediction?
Oh, I can see 2-1 Betis. Mail it in. We're on to the next one. On to the quarters. Let's go.
Yeah, 1-1, I think. We draw. We don't lose. We move on. Let's go. On to the next one. Here comes some news. What was that noise?
United in the news. That's new. 440 episodes of the podcast. That's
I'm always coming up with new
That's
noises. Come on.
New noise. This guy. Per the Times, Jim Ratcliffe asked Steve Brailsford to help in Manchester United bid. Ratcliffe remains confident of securing the ownership of Manchester United despite a competing bid from Qatar. Ineos have begun the process of identifying a new technical and executive team.
I like that.
The buyers breaking news. Again, there's no need to break news because all you got to do is pay $6 billion and you can have it.
I guess this is Radcliffe's counter to the Qatar, we're not going to get taken advantage of. We're not going to pay over the odds. I like the fact they're looking for a technical team, right? I mean, I don't think his bid's going to get accepted, but if they were, obviously the first thing you would up-level at this club is your DOF and your CEO. So at least they have the priorities in the right place, because I'm sure they came into Manchester.
No,
they got
that's
to meet
showing-
Richard Arnold, and they're like, these guys are numpties.
So what that shows you is Ratcliffe needs other money, right? Because he's got to go
Yeah, that's a
and
good
pitch
point.
other people and say, this is who we're going to install.
Yep.
You should want to invest in this because this club with this team can be worth this.
Yeah.
And that will make it attractive, because when you're going to raise money, you're going to need the team. Who's going to do it? How are we going to do it? And
They're ready to go.
and-
They'll be ready to go by the summer if we can pull off the acquisition. Like, that's actually a really
Exactly.
good
Lining
point. So they
people
probably don't. They probably need more money to get above the 4.5 that has currently been bid. So they're trying to curry some outside cash.
Look, it's a 2-horse race that in public are kind of doing the dance, and then we hear that there's another party in the United States that's also involved. Dark horse, nobody knows who they are. We'll keep you posted here. Hasn't been a lot of movement on the sale front, but this is Ratcliffe showing his card, and that's a guy who likes Manchester United. Grew up a fan, childhood fan of this club, from England, wants it really bad, would be willing to split it with somebody else. Can they get there? How bad does he want it? And I honestly think it's a smart buy. You pay $6 billion. Manchester United is a guaranteed ATM forever. I mean, the only time that ATM has stopped is World War I and World War II. And that's the only time. And obviously COVID. It stopped for about 4 months.
Right.
But at the end of the day, like, those are the risks to the business at the end of the day. Right. And you think about, well, that's a risk to every single business, and this is just guaranteed cash machine. So I hope they put together a competitive bid. It'd be interesting to see how it comes out, but they got to get close to that $6 billion.
No, it's a good point. Because this club, you buy it at 6, it's arguably worth 10 in 10 years. You know, it's like United's going to continue to do better. There's only going to be more football fans, young football fans in America. It just keeps gaining traction, at least in the United States and abroad. All they got to do is fix the FA, the referee.
You hate to see it, but it's also true. And like, where, honestly, I feel like the risk factor and where football is going to go, they are going to play games in the United States. Like, they will play, like,
In the Middle East. Like, they'll play them
they
all
will.
over. Yeah.
It depends who buys.
Yeah.
But so again, when it comes to just making the most amount of money, that would be in the U.S., right? You have the most amount of eyeballs. You have the most amount of commercial. So that will happen. And this is going to, it's sort of, there's a glass ceiling right now. They're not doing it. They're keeping the same. They're not really innovating. You're looking at the NFL coming into Europe. Well, they're playing games in Germany, playing games in England. They're talking about creating teams, creating a division in Europe. And the NFL is taking money out of the EPL's bank. The new stadiums are accommodating NFL fields, etc. So what NFL is doing will be replicated by the FA. The problem is they've waited too long. And if you're going to be buying a club, you're going to be banking on that happen to EPL. And the way you bank that is you're going to be playing EPL games abroad. And that will just change the whole game. And in Europe, we obviously heard Super League. Something's going to happen there too. Because, UEFA ain't above corruption, and they're going to expand the Champions League in some nonsense competition. And then they got Conference League, and you don't need all this stuff. So the game is ripe for disruption. It's going to be interesting to see where it goes. But if you're buying a club, those are the things you're thinking about. Is like, you're making X today. How do we make Y tomorrow?
Right.
How do we make
X
$6
plus
billion?
Y.
But, they have to be looking at what the NFL is doing with going abroad and getting those stadiums are full. They're getting fans to watch the game in Europe, despite the games being played at like crazy hours of the day. And it's a success. It's absolutely a success. And it's going to be, and it will happen in English Premier League. People will cry, people will whinge, people will protest. It's just inevitable because they're going to maximize the revenue. I mean, what would a Meadowlands like Manchester United Liverpool game look like in North Jersey? Like,
I'm not sure.
80,000 people. I mean, these are the type of like Dallas Cowboys Stadium.
80,000 people that half wouldn't be half wouldn't have sat down by the 40th minute. They would just filter in and out.
They can charge
the
whatever they want.
Worst game experience you'll ever have. It's a good point. No, so the money machine never stops rolling. UEFA, FIFA, FA, even La Liga, they're never going to try and have fewer games. All they're going to try and do is have more games and more games and more games and games abroad and games cross, all-star games, because they don't give a shit. They couldn't care less about the players, bro. All they care about is money. Money, 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 money. And that's just going to happen with the EPL. So that would make you think that, hey, Manchester United are the top of the heap as it relates to English Premier League. There's only more money
You heard
to be
about the
had
expanded
in the
Club
next 10
World
years.
Cup, right?
Yeah.
Like, so the Club World Cup.
They're expanding everything.
No, but
everything's being expanded.
That's a FIFA money grab, right? The FA hasn't even gotten in on it.
They're on
the
to it next.
UEFA
They're
Champions
next.
League expansion is a money grab. Then you have the FA. So things are going to be changing.
CONCACAF.
These are
They're all
all
doing
things you're going to be thinking about when you're buying a club. Is like, what's the environment? How is it changing?
What's the pool of
How
money
can
I
we
can
get the
yeah.
most amount of money? Like Super League, was that check guaranteed? Would have bailed out. That was the move the Glazers had all along. And they didn't get that check, and we're seeing the sale process right now. Next bit of news here. Inter Milan renew interest in Manchester United's 31 million rated defender Victor Lindelof as a Serie A side prepares to lose Skriniar and I can't even say the other guy, Stefan de Vrij in the summer. Maybe I'm going to say that name. So look, Lindelof, 31 million pound rated. Serie A is hurting for cash
Do you
at the
sell
end of the day. You sell him. Do you sell Lindelof?
That's why I put this in. It was like the news was a little light. Apparently, is interested in It was like us attached to some players that no one has ever heard of, so I didn't include that. Didn't want to waste your time. People apparently want Lindelof. What do you think? Would you sell Lindelof for 31 million if you could get it? 31 million?
31 million? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I have to say.
If it was 15, I'd have to think. He should be, if you're looking at Varane, Martinez, this story is about Magoo. I would sell Magoo. You don't need to sell two center backs.
No, you don't.
You need to sell one. You need to sell Magoo.
You sell one and buy one.
And guess what? If you get 30 million for Magoo, that's a great deal.
It is.
And you keep Lindelof to be the third or fourth choice.
Yeah.
Obviously, if you're really serious about running this club, you get rid of both.
Yeah, you would.
You get 2 or 3 in. The problem is our youth system isn't good at creating center backs, and we just don't have that coming through the line, or at least Ten Hag doesn't rate Tuanzebe, etc. So, I just don't like switching too many bodies. So I'd probably keep Lindelof, focus on selling Maguire is what I would do at the end of the day. And Maguire's got to go. He's got to go.
No, it's a good point because Victor's a little younger. You could obviously sell him a little later. Harry, 30, you got to get rid of him now. There will be a market for him because he's good for England. He'll be good for a mid-table club. He would be great for a West Ham. Or Southampton, even though they're not mid-table anymore.
Nobody would pay money for him if they weren't English.
Yeah,
for the
we're
record,
going to sell him in
No
England.
one's going to
This is
pay
not going to
money
be a Chris
if they're not
Smalling
like
where he's on
the PSG
Actually,
rumor.
he would do well in Italy because it's slower and there's a lot of aerial balls and he's good in the air and he's slow. But that means I don't think you sell both. And you made a good point. The youth, we've gotten pretty good at developing wingers, attackers, even midfielders, but center backs are tough. Menji and Will Fish are kind of next in queue, and I don't think either of those players are going to have what it takes to perform for Manchester United at the top tier at the first team level. So you're probably not going to sell both center backs, third and fourth ranked picks, even though arguably Shaw is your third ranked pick now. As you know,
and that's good.
It is good,
and that
because Mossy can fit in well. But Lindelof, one to watch.
And then next one, Casemiro leaves pitch in tears as he's shown straight red for horror tackle on Carlos.
Tackle, like that? Horror tackle?
Why are you putting this in the news?
Light news week, sir.
Light news week. So 4 games. That's new to me. I didn't know if you got 2 straight. You got 4. I mean, the last time we had a player get a straight red at Manchester United. I mean, was it Wayne Rooney?
The last player to get a straight red was probably Martial when he slapped.
That's right.
Lamella.
Yes.
Soft. I'll tell you what, he's playing in Spain. Exactly where he belongs.
Yeah, but that being a red card, I mean, we saw it. How was that 2 seasons ago at this point? Touching someone's face being a red card, and it's just
that was during COVID, right?
Yeah, that's just not. That's not what the EPL is, and also this is going to get us into the first red card. There was a red card for the other team at the same time in that scrum. There's a scrum. So
Yeah.
what are you gonna do? Like 20-minute break. Let's look at the scrum from every angle. It's
Well, the
like
Palace
you're
one was even
better
more
off.
egregious. The Palace one.
That's what I'm saying.
And even
That
this
was
one,
the-
it's like if you give us a red, give us
And
the
that
penalty.
cost us the Arsenal game.
I know, dude.
Sir, United against the world at the end of the day. Let's get into fan questions here at Mike United Mets. Open up the whinge factory because VAR has to be centralized like the NHL model if we're ever going to have consistency. Casemiro's challenge as a yellow at most was sent off 2 times in 222 La Liga matches. That had to be double yellows.
It was double yellows. He's never got a straight
The
red.
Prem has managed to send him off twice in 19 games. Laughable. And that's the greatest point you made there, Mike, is that this is La Liga, which is so soft.
So soft.
And that's showing you how soft the Premier League has gotten and where they don't want it. This should not be this way. And boy, do we open up the whinge factory because we've been whinging all day.
We've been whinging all day. This is a tough pod for a listener, but it's a good point. He's like, La Liga still gives away like 3 to 4x the number of red cards as the Premier League does. They've done like 80 red cards season to date where we're in the 20s. It's just that United, we've been getting a hard done. We've had a tough time ever since that City call where obviously the luck went our way, that offsides call. That was arguably should not have stood. But since then, we've been getting every call against us. So it feels like old times, sir.
At DavyT_, a draw after that Charmin Ultra Soft red card is actually a positive result. It's United versus the world, sir. We already know this. A couple of pens also that weren't called. It's all in the day's work when you're Manchester United. Premier League is all but lost as we take both FA and Europe. I mean, it's both FA and Europa League. But at the end of the day, it's right. It's like it's all in a day's work when you're a Manchester United fan. I mean, this has been coming all day.
Ulrich's shooting from the hip. Get this one.
At
This
you,
is great.
Bolson. VAR is criminal at this point. Red cards and pens are about as consistent as Wout's finishing. Let's go.
That's incredible.
Well fought point, and a lot of credit to the back four today. 2, great point.
well
A lot of
said,
credit to the
Ulrich.
back four. It was scrambled eggs to start. And it was funny. Is like I felt like the theme before the red was like, damn, we are getting outplayed by Southampton. Hogg had to probably be thinking adjustment before halftime because, like, unfortunately, per his first part of his tweet, the adjustment was Wout off.
Yeah.
To get another midfielder on, get Fred in there
Yep.
because we couldn't get anything going, and then obviously the red card and the whinge factory just blew the roof off of it. At Rolling the Deep 1995. Should have done better there. Yeah, we were down a man, but our passing and crossing were shocking at times, and it cost us in the final third. Time to rotate and finish the job in Betis. See you next month, Casemiro. Oh, no. At D_Cole18, quote, lads, I'm sick in the hospital. Shout out to you. Sorry to hear that you're in the hospital. I miss watching a game for the first time in over 2 years. Sounds like the VAR is a disgrace and can't be saved, and the refs absolutely robbed us of staying in the race yet again. Hated, adored, never ignored. Glory, glory, Man United. Looking forward to the pod and a good distraction. Hopefully are whinging
Hope you feel
about
better.
VAR and feel better. At Daniel D298122166, quote, I think Casemiro's rash decision, accumulation of yellow cards, and now 2 red cards, which resulted in suspensions, are really affecting our success. That's a good point. He has a lot of yellows as well. He plays on the edge.
He's a dog.
He's a dog.
He's a dog. You don't get to be one of the best CDMs in the world by not being a dog.
He went in. I was like, no, you didn't need to do that. As soon as he did, I was like,
As
you
soon
didn't
as
need that.
they
You
said
didn't
to
need
the
to do
monitor,
that.
I was like, red
You
card.
didn't need to
I was
do
like,
that.
they're gonna give him a red
No,
card.
he
They're
just
gonna give him a
went
red
in.
card.
He's a
Dude,
man playing a
he's
boy's
got 2
game.
speeds, bro. Stop, go. He likes to fuck people up, and he wanted to fuck that guy up. And did. It should have been a yellow. And this speaks to the lack of depth in the squad, right? You lose a Casemiro, the drop off is so immense to the next man in line. I mean, obviously he's an elite player, so it's hard to have someone that's like ready to go, who's even 80% of the player that he is. But the team we need bodies, bro. We need bodies.
All right, last tweet here at BT Costello 05, quote, VAR is so bad, Chelsea fans are on our side. Great effort by the boys. Hope Garnacho's okay after that leg breaker tackle. Hopefully this is another galvanizing moment to press on. 3 trophies, top 4, let's go. # Glory, Glory, Man United. That's a great point. I feel like the point of red cards is to keep players from getting injured.
Yeah.
You saw with Andy Carroll, like the ref did not make the red card move, and then players got injured. I feel like with Garnacho, that was obviously a scissor. That's got to be
Something.
So, like, if you're going to go if you're going to give Casemiro the red, the challenge on Garnacho has to be a red. Andy Carroll's got to be a red. Those types of challenges where you're going to injure players, if you're trying to get everything has to be a red. There, you have to give out way more red cards. So the math doesn't really add up. Exactly, you have to be like La Liga, and the math doesn't add up. But man, we go again. Betis, it's a tough one, but as a United fan, you just got to say. The wind's been at our back. 3 points here, 3 points there, 3 points everywhere. Now we're facing some headwinds, right? We had a tough, not going to talk about it, result. Then, Betis is we come back, and then you're like, oh, we're going to clean up against Southampton. Boom. Get hard done by. So you're always going to face these ebbs and flows in the season, and it's how we weather it. So we got our wind in our faces right now. Obviously, Betis should be easy to deal with. Then you got FA Cup quarters. It's going to be interesting to see how everything plays out, how the lads deal with the adversity. Because right now we're facing some adversity without our best player, and hopefully it galvanizes this squad.
It's a great point. We've had a hell of a year. It's been really a hell of a year already. And I hope to think that, things have gone for us, things haven't gone for us, but the resiliency that the team is building, I thought it was a great performance. Obviously, De Gea had some big saves. The crossbar had some big saves. But we showed resilience. The defense fought well. The goalie played really well. The players that were in front of the defense worked really hard to try and keep their side in it. So I feel like this team, we're not obviously in the promised land of competing for titles quite yet, but we are getting somewhere. We are making progress. The team has got some fight in them. Maybe too much fight, like you said. Too many dogs right now. And that's getting us seeing red cards. But
no, we need depth.
We need depth.
We also need composure.
We need a number 9.
We need composure when we're flying close to the sun in key games.
It comes from experience, I think.
I do think we still have a glass ceiling.
Yeah.
With the current squad, I'm going to say we just need some more dogs. We need some more winners. And we're on the right one. Look, that's it. That's the podcast. If you like the American Red Devils, check out our Patreon page, patreon.com/American Red Devils. Support us. Check out our website, AmericanRedDevils.com. AmericanRedDevils.store for all your American Red Devils merch. Everything you buy supports us, sir. Give them our top 10 cities last 7 days.
Number 1, how you doing? London, England. New York, New York. Los Angeles, California. Chicago, Illinois. Seattle, Washington. Brooklyn, New York. Melbourne, Australia. San Francisco, California. Dallas, Texas. And last but not least, fucking Tampa, Florida, baby. Appreciate all the American Devils listening week in, week out. We couldn't do it without you. It's always darkest before the dawn. I love this song because it's a direct bird to the FA, sir, if you know what this song's about. Who the F for Man United. Enjoy the week. Enjoy Betis. And we'll be back sooner rather than later.
Let's go.